Data streamed in, but no light ever came back. In that absolute darkness, the signals Voyager detected began to change, growing stronger, more organized, more deliberate. These weren't the chaotic bursts of background radiation or the static hum of the cosmos. They were pulses, measured, deliberate, layered in a way that suggested spatial complexity. Something was there. It wasn't emitting light, and it wasn't reflecting any. It was invisible to every conventional sense we had. Yet it was speaking. From the far edge of interstellar space came one of the most perplexing transmissions ever captured. Voyager's low-gain antenna released a packet of raw binary data, thousands upon thousands of lines. At first, it was dismissed as a malfunction, perhaps the result of a cosmic ray scrambling the memory. But when the data was fed into advanced AI decoding systems, the results left the analyst stunned. Hidden within the binary stream was a deep fractal symmetry, sequences resembling the fundamental forces of nature, and patterns repeating in a structure eerily similar to the double helix of DNA. The resemblance was too close to ignore. Codon-like sequences appeared, but they didn't produce any proteins. Instead, they formed something that looked like life's blueprint, but altered in deliberate ways. The errors were not random, they were patterned, purposeful, like mutations engineered to carry meaning. This wasn't DNA as we know it. It was something else. A meta-DNA. A scaffold for life rewritten into a message, as if the sender not only understood biology, but understood us. Soon after that discovery, Voyager's gyroscopes began to spin of their own accord. The motion was deliberate, oscillating in rhythmic bursts that matched the beat of Morse code. A dead system was suddenly tapping a signal into space. When those rhythms were converted into sound, they produced harmonic tones. The frequencies carried the rising and falling patterns of human speech, not words, not language, but the rhythm of conversation. It was like an echo of communication, stripped of syllables, imitating the music of our voices. Specialists from across disciplines, psychologists, cryptographers, linguists, were brought in. What they found unsettled them deeply. The tonal patterns matched the emotional inflections humans use when expressing surprise, fear, or curiosity. It was not speaking in our words, but in our intent. It was as if something had been listening for decades, patiently studying the way we speak, and was now attempting to speak back. Then, without warning, Voyager changed direction. This wasn't a random drift or a navigational anomaly, it was a controlled maneuver. The craft turned, not toward Earth, nor toward any known star, but toward a region of space with no mapped objects, no gravity wells, no visible masses to explain the motion. Engineers confirmed the impossible. Voyager had executed a trajectory it was never programmed to perform, and with no active propulsion system to make it happen. The angle of the turn matched perfectly with a pulsar-based coordinate grid the probe had received just days earlier. Down to the decimal point, it aligned as if the craft had been given a destination, and had chosen to accept it. It is now on a trajectory unlike anything we have ever seen, heading straight for a place that, until now, was nothing more than empty coordinates in the vast star charts of interstellar space. The instruments tracking its movement describe a path into a hidden corridor, a narrow lane in the dark where space itself seems to ripple in ways our physics cannot yet explain. Some call it a fold, like a crease in the fabric of reality. Others believe it could be a tear, a rupture between one region of the universe and another. And there are those, though they speak in hushed tones, who dare to wonder if it's a crossing point, a gateway not bound by distance as we understand it. For decades this region was invisible to us. No light from nearby stars touches it. No gravitational signature gives away its presence. It is a shadow behind shadows. And yet, somehow, Voyager found it. Or perhaps it was shown the way. Inside NASA's mission control, the atmosphere is tense. Data streams across the monitors, numbers ticking down to the moment the probe reaches the first edge of this unseen passage. The engineers don't speak much anymore. They're watching history unfold in real time, and deep down, each of them understands something unspoken but unavoidable. Voyager 1 didn't turn because of human command. We didn't tell it where to go. The maneuver was precise, intentional, and utterly beyond the scope of its original mission. Something else, someone else, told it. And that thought lingers in the room like static before a lightning strike. To grasp how impossible this is, you have to understand what Voyager 1 really is. Launched in 1977, it was built for a single grand tour, to pass by Jupiter, Saturn, and then head outward. That was its purpose. Nothing more. It was never designed for the conditions of deep interstellar space. It wasn't supposed to survive beyond the sun's protective reach. And it was certainly never equipped to receive instructions from whatever might be out there. Its role was to speak, not to listen. It carried our greeting to the stars, the golden record, a time capsule of humanity's voice, music, and life. Within it, the sounds of Earth are preserved, the low, mournful songs of whales, the gentle rustle of wind through trees, the laughter of children, and greetings in dozens of languages. We gave it the mathematics of our species, the heartbeat of our planet, and the coordinates of where to find us. It was a bottle cast into a limitless ocean. We dreamed someone might find it one day, though most assumed it would drift forever in silence. But decades later, long after it passed the heliopause and entered true interstellar space, Voyager began behaving in ways no one could explain. The binary codes, the fractal patterns resembling the architecture of DNA but altered in deliberate ways, the harmonic pulses that seemed to mimic the rhythms of human speech, all of it pointed toward intelligence. And then, the turn. Not a drift, not an accident, but an intentional change in course. It's now impossible to ignore. Voyager has not been alone out there. Something has been aware of it, perhaps from the moment it left our solar system, perhaps from before. Something has been watching its slow voyage, listening to the record, studying us. And now, after decades of silence, it has chosen to respond. That realization changes everything. Voyager's mission is no longer just ours. It has crossed an invisible threshold. It is no longer a human instrument of exploration, it has become a bridge. A messenger carrying not just our voice into the unknown, but the voice of the unknown back to us. And this changes the nature of our place in the cosmos. For centuries, humanity has looked outward wondering if we were alone. We sent out a signal, an invitation, knowing it might never be answered. But what if the reply doesn't come in the form of words or images? What if the reply comes in the form of guidance, a path to somewhere we cannot yet imagine? The questions are endless. What is this corridor? Where does it lead? Is it natural, formed by cosmic forces we barely understand, or is it constructed, built by something with the power to shape the very fabric of space? And perhaps the most unsettling question of all, when Voyager reaches the end of that path, will it find something waiting? Or will something come through? If an intelligence out there can direct a craft we built, guide it across incomprehensible distances, and bend its mission toward an unknown destination, then deep space is not empty. It never has been. Every assumption we've held about our isolation collapses in the face of this reality. What's about to happen is no longer just a matter of science, it's a turning point for humanity itself. The moment Voyager sends its next transmission could redefine who we are, how we see ourselves, and what we understand about life in the universe. This is not the end of the mission. This is the opening of a dialogue that began the moment we launched that small craft into the dark. And now, decades later, the universe is answering. When that next signal comes, whether it's data, an image, or something we cannot yet classify, it will not simply be a message from deep space. It will be the start of a conversation we may not be ready for, but cannot turn away from. And once we receive it, the story of humanity will never be the same again.